When a £115 million rumor breaks a young player's confidence, football fans everywhere take notice. This is the story of Carlos Baleba, Brighton's midfield prodigy whose rise was as fast as his current fall. Carlos Baleba, only 21 years old, was the centerpiece of Brighton's midfield last season. He dominated defensive stats, tackles, interceptions, blocks, making him one of the Premier League's most promising talents. Analysts praised his reading of the game, his physical strength, and his composure under pressure. Brighton secured him from Lille in 2023, considering him one of their long-term investments. But fast forward to the start of the 2025-26 season, and everything looks different. Reports emerged that Manchester United were preparing to offer £115 million for Baleba. For many players, being linked to one of the world's biggest clubs would be a dream come true. But for Baleba, it turned into a nightmare. Brighton head coach Fabian Hürzeler explained what happened. He said Baleba was overwhelmed by the noise, the constant media attention, speculation, and the sky-high expectations that came with the rumor. Hürzeler admitted he is not a machine. He is still very young and emotions matter. The decline was visible on the pitch. In the 2-1 loss to Bournemouth, Baleba was left out of the starting 11. Against Tottenham on September 20th, he was substituted at halftime after a poor display. His usual sharpness was gone. His numbers, tackles won, interceptions, defensive duels had dropped drastically compared to last season. This sudden collapse raises questions that football rarely addresses. What happens when the hype becomes too heavy? How does a young player cope when branded a £115 million superstar before even proving consistency? The psychological weight can be crushing. Opponents now see him as a big target. The media scrutinizes every mistake, and fans expect perfection. In that environment, even the smallest errors become amplified. Brighton's strategy was to hold on to him. With 3 years left on his contract, the club considered Baleba their most valuable asset. But ironically, that strategy may have added even more pressure. By rejecting transfer advances, Brighton sent a clear message. Baleba is priceless. Yet for the player, it meant living up to impossible standards. The story of Baleba highlights football's unseen battlefield, not just the grass, but the mind. Being young, talented, and valued at over £100 million is not always a blessing. Sometimes it's a curse. As Brighton search for solutions, one question lingers. Can Carlos Baleba recover from the hype and return to his best form? Or will this £115 million label define his downfall?